Cheers there. Everything fine?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, before we begin, I just want to let everyone know that we are being recorded and can be followed at a later date. All right, all yours.
Good afternoon. I'm the chair of licensing committee. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great summer. And we're gonna meet more often than during the summer. So we have we have 3 applicants. But one of the applicants, we have them first, I believe. We have to, okay, switch agenda a little bit. Who's here? No.
Central or good one.
Okay, and who else? Oh, the new building. Okay, that's the new building. Then we should have. Okay. So we will skip number 1 in agenda because she's coming late, she's in the kitchen. She's nearby. We will start with new beer and cider license application for GZA Enterprise DBA Pharma Factory located at Torrey 86 Brighton 2nd Street, Brooklyn, New York 11235. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You, no, they're not here yet. Okay, so, sorry. So new full liquor license application for SKS LLC located at 532 Neptune Avenue, Brooklyn, New York 11224. Okay, you're here, correct? Okay. So that's the new license. Yeah, okay, can you move a little bit? I mean, I'm really sorry.
Oh, thank you. Third point, yes.
Hi, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe, okay, it's in new license, so what kind of restaurant you gonna think?
Gonna be a street. Brunch somewhere in there. With no live music, just better. The, this midnight.
So what are your, okay, what are your hours of operation?
Second.
So what time you gonna stop serving liquor and take order? No, you cannot, if you have your schedule from 7 to 12, you have to stop serving liquor before that and take orders before that. I'm talking about at night. What time you gonna stop taking orders? Okay. So what time you gonna start? No limit. Okay. I'm
They've got here 7 a.m. hours of operation is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the stipulation sheet.
okay.
Well, we will start first 6 months, see how it goes. you know, the places are, you can open till 12 p.m. till 12 midnight if you want to, and see how it's needed or not.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's gonna be at the beginning, it's gonna be up to 7 p.m., not later.
Okay,
This is strictly dinner, lunch, and.
okay. So the point Michael brought up, actually it's important point. And I would ask you kindly if you can indicate on your stipulation form in parentheses that no liquor will be served before noon. Okay, and please correct it and send it to Hannah before full board meeting.
Right now.
You can do it right now. And please initial change.
Yeah.
So in theory, this is gonna be one of the.
Today's date and initial.
Today's date and your initial, your name, or just sign your name, initial name.
So initially,
I'm sorry,
That's a new building.
it's a new building, yes.
there's 3 new buildings there.
Bring your buildings,
Part of the old-
yes.
Yes. So this is virtually going to be like an old fashioned coffee shop,
Exactly.
breakfast, lunch and dinner, right?
We're with diner type. Just, we wanna have some background music so that people not involved or anything like that.
Any, if I remember correctly, today Michael is helping me. Thank you very much, Michael. I forgot my glasses, so you do it for me. Okay, so if I remember correctly, you're not applying for any outdoor space, correct?
This outdoor space use, which is.
2 tables and a couple of chairs, right?
Is
Are
it,
you on the elevated portion?
Yeah, yes, we are.
so you're talking about elevated portion, like a balcony or patio or whatever? Not, no side, no city street, okay, that's what, no city street, okay. So,
Right, next door entrance, like the portion where it's above the sidewalk and everything, and we are able to put like 3 tables.
okay,
Just for people to have 4 days.
okay, any other questions? From committee members?
Sorry, well, we're supposed to get the keys as soon as supposed to. Pay it together. And up to that, because we already have our plans, hearing and everything, and we're able to file and by New Year's, not earlier.
Are you closer to, because all the addresses are the same, are you closer to McDonald's or Net Cost?
That was.
Net Cost, so you're, well, at the beginning.
And that was like right around.
Right. By the dead end there that
Yeah.
they have.
You're good friends with the owners.
Okay,
So looking at this, right, it says, number 15, licensed outdoor area. But it says none.
so that's what I asked, they're not, if they're using, if, I'll
No,
explain.
not for liquor, it just.
No, if they're using the patio, which is part of premises, they
Right.
don't need any permission, they
So
don't
you
need
can
any
put
permit.
patio.
They can use patio, it's above the ground, they're not using, when we are talking about application, we are talking about city street or the road, if it's a
Okay.
road cafe. So it does not apply. That's why. Any other questions, committee members? Okay, roll call. Michael, you can,
No.
because you know much more than I.
Sure, for free from-
Yeah.
The liquor license is for 7 a.m. to
No.
7 p.m.
No.
Noon to 7 p.m.
From noon to the time of the closure. Half hour before. If they wanna make any changes, which is, let's say, method of operation, if they decide tomorrow they wanna have dancing or live music, they have to come back to us, okay? To change their method of operation. If they wanna add security, they also have to come back to us. This is why if it's not the diner type, any type of a restaurant, we usually recommend people to check all possible boxes not to have an extra headache. But in their case, if they're not planning any live music, any dancing, any DJ, let it be this way. If they reconsider, they're gonna come back to us.
If they want to go past the 7 o'clock. As you open, okay, you see what has been either, do they still need to come back to us?
I believe it's gonna be amendment. We have to, Hannah will call State Liquor Authority, but it's not the change of method of operation. Amendment can be done without us, only with notification. Because we had a case few weeks ago during the summer, it was amendment. They check different boxes on stipulation and, I mean, they missed one box. And we just recently approved them, so since we have all boxes checked in the other document, just in the back.
Because otherwise, wouldn't it make sense for them to put their closing time at?
I would, if
11
I were,
o'clock
the-
before
if I were,
now?
if I were you,
Just to, you don't have to.
yes, if I were you, I would put from day one, okay, like Michael said. If you wanna experiment and say, let us stay closed for 6 months, especially we are talking about the winter, let us stay open until 7 PM, it's up to you. But I understand you're using an attorney, and we all understand attorney means money. So if you have to use attorney again, it doesn't make sense. So if I were you, I would make corrections, but you gotta do it as soon as possible, okay? So I would highly recommend to do so.
Do it that way and have to stop serving the liquor half hour before.
Okay,
Quick question. The building has entrances on Sheepshead Bay Road also.
But not where they're located.
they're located in
Building.
Netflix.
Net course, it's a different building.
Her initial thing.
Okay, it's close to net course, it's closer to net
It's the
course.
same building. Okay, because that's
Same
how it's
address.
broken up.
Yeah.
The whole shopping center is the same address, 532. It's Suite 1, Suite 2, Suite 10.
And the entrances on Sheepshead Bay Road.
No,
No.
their entrance is on
Neptune.
Neptune Avenue. There will be stores
That's what I'm
on
asking.
Sheepshead Bay Road, but this is on Neptune.
It's-
That's why that's
right.
where they were.
Yeah. Listen, if we are bored, we can use this little pocket to have the little dance of community. See? Okay, any other questions? If no, Madam Glickman, please.
Elena Mack,
Yes.
Jennifer Dublin,
Yes.
Taj Brad,
Yes.
Barbara Gravel.
Excuse me, there's no motion yet.
Oh, wait, no one made a
There's no
motion.
motion.
Thank you. Someone make a motion first. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Someone second? Oh,
Um,
32 feet.
no, SKS. But
Yeah.
SKS 1818 LLC.
See, yes. Who seconds it? All right, Minnie.
So you started the meeting. Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Barbara Gravel. Minnie Pizza,
Yes.
Pat O'Brien.
Yes.
Shimon Rakowski. Yes. Michael Silverman.
Yes.
Ivana.
Okay, pass. We would have full board meeting, general board meeting when the full board will vote on your application. If it's approved by the full board, only after that, community board 13 office will send the letter of approval to state legal authority. You don't have to come to general board meeting. Thank you. Good luck.
Wish you good luck.
Yes, yes. John.
Okay, new beer. Yeah. New beer and cider license for Sonoma Inc. located at 1003 Surf Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Have a seat.
Hi, good evening.
I believe we know you. Okay, from the, yeah, from the other place. Okay,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah. Very.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
So what are you doing now? Sushi place?
Mhm. It's good.
That's the first one.
Oh, it's perfect.
Mark, so what are your hours of operation? What are your hours of operation? From what time to what time?
11:30 to it's 9:30 for weekday. It's weekend, it's 11:30 to 10:30.
What kind of music?
Thirty to 10:30.
Yeah.
It's DJ.
So it says DJ and,
No, but I think it is,
okay, what do you have now?
it's just music.
Background music?
Yeah.
And you check DJ in case?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not playing,
Some people at a party, maybe.
okay. And those people, and some people are right. But you're not planning any kind of dancing, any kind of parties? Any kind of disco? Karaoke? Okay.
So, you'll actively manage crowds congregating on the street at night. How do you propose to do that?
Well, people are.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you gonna have, on-site security or no?
No. That's a story.
Sound country, so.
Yeah. Soundproof window? You have, you have soundproof walls?
Soundproof, soundproof.
Yeah.
Your walls are gonna be soundproof?
I don't want, because even I'm a trade.
Ah, okay. It's not because of your music, because of our train, okay, I understood, okay. DJ, you know. So it's gonna be competition between DJ and train, I don't know who wins, but whatever. Okay.
Are you gonna be the manager of the,
Yeah,
and will you be there all the time?
all day.
Oh.
You store back, story, you need that.
Michael, now I have to get time to invite you for practice.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
Thank you then.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Track record with our operation has been good to date.
They're fine, I mean, I did not, the agenda went to 6:00, okay?
Right.
I spoke to Ray today about something else, but Ray told me they can make it. I asked him if they found anything on our agenda they want us to know. He said no. So that's.
A motion to approve. Yeah.
Well,
No, it's
the
not
name-
just
No, no,
the name of it.
The name of it.
No. Dormy. Dormy.
Okay, Barbara, make it debut, second. Okay. Okay,
Okay, so I made the motion, Barbara second.
yes,
Thank you. Okay, Elena Mackin,
yes.
Jennifer Dublin,
Yes.
Josh Grant,
Yes.
Barbara Gavrell,
Yes.
Vinnie Manquita,
Yes.
Pat O'Brien,
Yes.
Stephen Rakowski, yes. And Michael Silverman.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good luck.
It's going to be voted on during our general board meeting. You don't have to come. If it's approved by our full board, community board 13 office, will send the letter of approval to New York State Liquor Authority.
Thank you. I think it's easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hannah, we don't have, we don't have,
He's right here. We have it. We have one for liquor and one cannabis.
yeah, but legally I don't see.
Are there stipulations? Or the
No.
person?
Okay. Okay, Lizzie is here.
Okay.
Okay. good.
I'll let you out closer to. And
Hours of operation at 9. So the third-
They're already open, Michael, and I believe they came to us before. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Okay, and we approved their application, but what happened? Liquor authority told you to do it.
I am not. So the case was that we rotated the register. So it was for the customer, it was not getting to the kitchen. Now, and they, of course, they dismissed it, it was not fully accessible for the customers, now we built. The way so everybody can access it. From the room to all the customers, and we wanted to retry.
Okay. And it's a beer and cider, correct? Okay. What about outdoor?
No.
Okay, are you sure? So wait. I know what I'm talking about. I'm on Brighton every day. Not anymore, but when you open, you had table or two outside, but not anymore. I believe somebody told you not to do it. So you're not planning to have any tables outside?
We used to have one table, but we're not gonna set it down.
So you're not applying to DOT for sidewalk?
No,
Okay,
and we don't have any for it.
okay, and what do you have, background music only?
No.
What else do they have?
That they were actively there.
Yeah, they will actively manage the crowd. I mean, I did not get any complaints. Everything's fine. I'm just concerned because place is small. I'm just concerned about, I hope you're not planning any parties there. Okay.
No seating area inside, is there?
They do have seating area inside. It's few tables. It's very clean. It's a very nice place, actually. I bought from them once upon lunch. One time it was very good, the other time it was okay, so maybe it's my fault. I did not know what to buy.
For application. Very detailed. What is so?
No.
So-
People are applying 30 days temporary retail. When you, since they're in business already, and they wanna start selling liquor as soon as possible. And the license, regardless of its nature, if it's a full license,
Right.
okay, it takes time. So this is why people applying not only for a liquor license, but for, that's how it's called, for 30 days temporary retail. And they're gonna get it much sooner than license. So they have to renew it every 30 days before they get a license. Okay?
So-
Yeah, and the reason I asked what kind of music they're playing, because there is something we recently learned, that I'm under temporary license, all restaurants that are within 500 feet low, and almost everyone in Brighton within 500 feet low, during when they have temp, they're not allowed anything but background music. So we don't want people to have issues. Okay? Any other question? Okay, meaning you wanna make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion, for a license, to approve license for GZA Enterprise Corporation at 3086 Brighton Second Street. Shawarma Factory.
So good. Okay, thank you very much. Sharma, it's like Jaira. It's a Jaira time.
That's how it's spelled, shawarma?
No, it's
Shawarma?
it's a name they use in Georgia and Middle East, okay? In America and some in Turkey they use Jaira.
Shawarma.
Am I right?
Shawarma.
Yes,
Shawarma.
yes.
Shawarma.
Yeah.
Cause it's not spelled. Alright.
That's
Very
how it's spelled.
confusing. Okay,
I just explained.
all right, thanks.
Yes.
Elena Macklin,
Yes.
Jennifer Dublin. Thomas Graham,
Yes.
Barbara Gravel.
Yeah.
Benny Montano.
Yes.
Al O'Brien.
Yeah.
Laura Republic. Michael Colbert. Okay. What's Parish? Ruth.
Okay, good luck. It's going to be the community board 13 will vote on your license application during the general board meeting. If it's approved by the general membership, community board 13 office will send the letter of approval to New York State Liquor Authority. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Didi Madlo.
Yes.
Bye.
Good night.
I know, I used to know 25 Georgian words, now I know 5. Georgian words in Georgia, okay? But now I know 5. But all good words, not even one bad word.
Magloba is good.
Magloba is good, I know. Magloba means thank you.
Thank you.
Baklava. Okay, now we have my favorite. New adult. New adult dispenser license application. Or a center LLC located at 301 Brighton Beach Avenue, Brooklyn. It's between. And what is there right now? Three or?
Yeah, like luggage.
Okay, I know. The smart, yeah, I know, the smart store. Yeah, okay. The smart store, okay. I do believe that such establishment does not belong to Brighton Beach. I understand about distance, what state tells you. We have just one recently opened on Coney Island and Brighton Beach. It's between Brighton Beach and Ocean View and Coney Island Avenue. I believe, I mean, even one is more than enough, but one is enough. But we are recommendational, unfortunately. It's up to state. But again.
Well, so we're in the process, do we ask questions, do we make a motion? I mean, you're the chair and you're against it, but.
No, I'm not saying it against it, the process is the same,
What?
process is the same.
What does that
We're gonna vote for it.
Process.
Process.
Okay,
The process.
right, that's what I'm asking about.
No.
But I didn't hear on the other 3 times the chair expressing an opinion. So where do we ask the questions? When do we make the motion?
I can give some background if you would allow me.
You can give some background.
Appreciate your position. My name is Andrew Creedy. I run a practice group in cannabis. I work with the regulators. I've been a technical assistant in their application process. And I work with community boards as well in helping them craft a collaborative restriction so that they can have some input in everything about the way the store looks and the way the store operates. I wanted to introduce the applicants and the licensees because it's important, I believe. Basically, this is 2 families that come together. My son Taryn is a regulatory consultant. He works with me. And the Gallups are my childhood friends. They decided to apply. The licensees are Taryn and Donna Gallup. And while we did submit an affidavit at your request, I will say at the outset, we're collaborative. We wanted to find out from you what you want from us. For example, hours of operation. We're going to be understated. We're not having product on the floor. There's not going to be neon. There's not going to be signage. And it's going to be more of an ode to Old Brighton. And I will tell you that we do have a connection to the community.
What kind of connection?
So
If I may ask, what kind of connection?
So my uncle owned a kosher cabana. I don't know if anybody remembers. Back in the 40s and the 50s, it was right on Brighton Beach Ave. The Pink Elephant as well, another restaurant. My 2 uncles were the lifeguards, Joe and Jimmy Zarini were the lifeguards at Brighton Beach Baths. Now, as you probably know, finding locations that are compliant, that meet the state's requirements is very, very difficult. When I saw this site and I saw the opportunity and know that we had a connection, both families actually, we decided to proceed. We've worked with a local contractor who's built other restaurants in the community. And I will say that while I do recognize and we're familiar with the dispensary on Coney Island Avenue, there will not be, if we are approved, there will not be another dispensary in Brighton because there's simply not logistically the distance requirements between the one that's down and the one that's on Coney Island Avenue. And we're here to talk and answer questions that you might have. Respecting your right to say, we feel like this is not something we want in our community. I will tell you, I've been at 50 community boards. I've heard everything. And I'm sensitive and I understand that some people resist this and simply don't feel it's appropriate. I don't pass judgment and I don't proselytize. Everybody's entitled to feel how they feel. But we are compliant and we want to be a part of the community in a way that we add value. And some people say, well, there's no value because we don't want cannabis. And I, once again, appreciate that. You know, we're talking about creating jobs. We're talking about making sure that we're not, standing out in a way that would be offensive to the community. We want to be consistent with what is existing in the community. And I brought the licensees here because I wanted you to have a chance to meet them and to ask questions.
Will you be
Go.
will you be selling other things, anything medicinal? Will part of your operation be medicinal? So if people have a prescription, can they go and get it filled at your establishment?
Great question. The way the system or program works is there's either medical operators, they're called registered organizations, and or there's adult use recreation. Unfortunately, because of the adult use market, it's restricted and constricted the medical market. And medical patients are being overlooked. So I'm glad you asked the question, because one of our focuses, because we think it's necessary in the community, is to add that piece where people can go in and learn more about things that would help them, whether it's anxiety or pain relief, things like that. So it's not truly going to be medical because we're not a medical operator. And you might have seen some, they were the ones who were open earlier, strictly medical, you needed a card, but there is no true prescription. It's actually a recommendation that you get from a physician who's trained and authorized and licensed by the state to provide that. So it's not really medicinal, it's not a true medical market, but one of the things that we intend to do is because fewer people are getting cards and going to medical establishments, they feel like they're overlooked. And so one of the core pieces of what we're planning to do is to add that, to provide that value and to try to help people, even if it's just inability to sleep. You know, we're talking about things that are not going to be jumping out at anybody. You're not going to see that we're a cannabis store until you're looking at us, and you're not going to even see any product on the floor. So yes, I appreciate you asking the question, and I hope I answered it.
Well, I mean, high centennial will probably give somebody
Hi, Essential.
high centennial, also high centennial.
Yeah.
Okay, that might give them a little clue.
That's not going to be the name.
Oh, it's not.
No. It's an entity you have to form
Yeah.
because you needed an entity in order to apply.
So I guess my first question is, what would the name be?
So, we were thinking about, and before I say this, it's in part, I learned not to pick things like names until we spoke to the community. I ran into we also have a consulting side, so we operate dispensaries. So we know a little bit more than most people. We were thinking about combining Kosher Cabana and the Pink Elephant, two places here that were very, very important to the community in the 40s and the 50s. So Pink Cabana. But once again, it's really just a function of finding out from the community board. You know, we don't know everything. We're not currently living here. We want people who are currently living here to say, you know, that's a terrible name. Well, you know what? That makes sense. Oh, we'd like to see this, or we'd like to see that, because we're willing to do what it is that makes the community comfortable. And you're the only face that we can talk to that reflects that.
And the question I want to ask, what is it? What it says transfer of existing business. Is that your existing business or is the site?
So when you apply to get priority in review, for lack of a better explanation, you were required to submit a site and show site control. We submitted with our application a site in a different community. Unfortunately, we had a problem with the certificate of occupancy that wasn't going to permit a retail use. What happened was it expired during the pandemic. There was simply nobody to give renewal with. And it's not as simple as it should be. So when you say the change, it's a location change, you have to basically move the site, because that's attached to the license, to another site. So that's really all it means. There's no operational business that's moving. It's a site that was approved by the regulators.
For cannabis sale?
Yes,
Where?
it was in Rosedale.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple of questions. It says you agree to host no more than 6 events per year. What's an event?
Well, that's a great question. It was in the questionnaire, so we thought what you meant was, for example, a grand opening. But when we talk about an event, we want to be over-inclusive. So we said grand opening would be an event, even though there's not going to be a DJ, there's not going to be it's not going to be a party, there's not going to be anything else. There may be for the holiday, 420, there may be an event, but it's not, my point is, it's not a true event. You ask people about DJs and on the sidewalk, we're not ever going to do any of it. That's just not part of what we do in cannabis. Plus, this community is not a community that we think it would be appropriate. So we said that just to be over-inclusive because we're committing to no more. So we picked a number, but we don't have a plan in place that will give us 6 events. And to the extent that it's an event, it's really just because we don't know what you guys are calling an event. If we're having a grand opening and it says grand opening, we believe that would constitute an event, so we included that, things like that.
Okay, I have the questions for the Gallops. Hi, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Do either of you have any business experience in this industry currently?
In the campus?
Yeah.
No. No. We do, I have a business in retail though, so.
Locally?
I have an auto parts store in Rockaway.
Sorry.
I have an auto parts store in Rockaway, 54 years.
Okay.
My father opened it up.
And it's a mom and pop.
It's mom and pops, one of the few left, as Andrew was saying, before my father passed away about 10 years ago, it was when we lost the C of O. I had no idea it was expiring. I'm in charge right now of getting everything back in shape, which I'm doing a very good job of doing, but it's a lot harder to deal with the city. And I would have liked.
And by the way, yeah,
I do have an auto parts store as well over there, which were about 28 years now. In Rosedale, so I have 2 auto parts. So retail, but I'm very familiar with retail.
And not only retail, I mean, like, I believe we're like one of the only mom and pop stores around, so we know how it's like we're far Rockaway. And we know everybody from generation to generation, so. My husband's been working there, I think, how old, 13, 10?
I started weekends at 13, I helped when I was years old.
and we do have experience in operational. Taryn and I are part of a group that runs operationalizes and all. So we do have the experience needed to be successful and to know how to do things correctly. He's actually a regulatory consultant, so he works with others who want to make sure they follow all the rules.
But the Gallops are the ones that
No.
don't.
No, it's Taryn, mainly Taryn.
Okay.
And
As the owners,
yeah,
and we have Andrew and Ally this morning.
and other, but we say he has 2 brothers. He has 2 more, he has 2 daughters and a son. So it's kind of like we came together because we were talking about doing something together. And when I was when he was working in the store at 13, I know that because I was at his house when he had to go to work. Because we've been close that long.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question. If you encounter, people who are rowdy, causing trouble, will you be able to manage that? Do you, gonna have any security on hand?
Yeah, we'll have a full-time dedicated staff member whose sole job is going to be basically and helping people enter the store, checking IDs, and also ensuring that we don't have, exactly that rowdy people. I mean, in the store, again, is one thing, but what we mainly want is that they're not a disruption to the community, that we're not having congregation in front of the store. So we're gonna have a full-time dedicated staff member to address exactly that.
All time,
Yes. There will not be, just sometimes I get this question, it's not gonna be an armed guard. And there's a lot of reasons, and I can talk about that if you're interested, but it's a decision that we made kind of institutionally that. And doing research shows that it actually creates a larger danger. Perception is not, but it actually doesn't really work. But here's the thing, if you guys said, or you feel more comfortable, we're willing to have that conversation. I just don't, I never heard that. Generally, people like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I'm not gonna hear that from me either.
Okay.
Okay, what man?
Most of the hours.
On.
Most of the hours, 11 PM to midnight. I've been to Brighton Beach, having 11 PM.
Yeah, we don't expect it to be, we're not even entirely sure that we're gonna operate that late, but giving it that it was a stipulation. To be a little over inclusive, and currently that mirrors the existing dispensaries hours there. So I felt that it was appropriate, but again, we came here for feedback. And I agree that I don't expect much business to occur, past 10 PM.
It's not, handshake, it's not about business. The other dispensary is not located under the L, okay? It's very dark after 7 PM, even after 6 PM during the winter time. Very dark. So I don't know why. If you claim you know Brighton and you connected to community, why would you put until midnight?
Put until 11 and then take that during the week. But as I mentioned, we come here because if you tell us you'd like us to see us close at 9 or 10, we're willing to stipulate to that. We put something in because generally speaking, in my experience, we've developed stipulations after the or during the meeting. Where you say you'd like to see this, that, and the other thing, and we've worked out stipulations which binds us and obligates us to commit to whatever we talk about and agree. So if that's something that you'd like to see, we have no problem with that.
At the beginning, you said you've been working in this area for a while. Could you just elaborate on how long and what exactly growth has been?
So I was actually a trial lawyer for 30+ years. I came to cannabis because I had long COVID, brain fog, and memory loss. I had to reinvent myself. And I had been working in cannabis on the litigation side, and Taryn was working with me. And to be honest with you, he knew that I was happy for a long time, and then he knew that I wasn't happy doing what I did for a long time. And just as an aside, he said, well, cannabis is going to be legalized. Why don't we make a difference? Why don't we help? Because we've commented on the draft regs, we've worked with the legislators, we've worked with the regulators. We try to make the regulations make sense for normal people. So once I did that, which is about 5.5 years ago, all I work in is cannabis. That's what I do as a lawyer. But at the same time, we realized at the very beginning that what was lacking was people's ability to operate. They have little operational support, and they don't have any programs that help people learn how to operate businesses. And they also have no access to capital. So what happened was there were really bad, heavy-handed deals that were going on, which is not what the regulators want, and not what the state wants, not what the community wants. So we created a consulting business that was attentive to both providing access to capital, making introductions to potential investors who were not bad actors, and helping people operate so they could figure out a way not to fail. Cannabis is really difficult. We have something called 280E, which is an Internal Revenue Code provision that prevents you from taking any deductions for other than your cost of goods sold. So you can't deduct your rent, you can't deduct your payroll, but you make your effective tax rate 65 to 70%. So cannabis. And so we built that, and we've operated and continue to operate and work with other dispensaries in various capacities. There's a variety of different needs, from your CFO to your retail piece, to your marketing, to your controller, to your regulatory compliance and human resources. So we've been involved enough to understand all the pitfalls, the dangers, and to put together a team that can operate a business in cannabis successfully.
One other quick question. Where do you plan to source the cannabis from?
It will all be sourced from New York State, by law, there'll be a range across New York, but all product will come from within New York. As Andrew mentioned, we are interested on having a fairly diverse product selection. So things that may be forgotten by a lot of dispensaries, balms, topicals, tinctures, those types of things that may not fit to the normal person who a lot of people imagine, your average smoker, that are more catered for people looking for, pain relief or other types of, use cases, and not just out there looking to, smoke some.
The state has implemented a program called a seed to sale. It's a tracking program. They're implementing it. It's long delayed. But what it does is it actually takes the product from the time it's a seed until it's sold. And they did that because there's a concept called inversion, which is where legal operators bring in product illegally from out of state because they're getting it at a discount, because in other states we've seen price compression. So in order to avoid and prevent that from happening, they build a seed to sale. Other states do it too. It's just, outside of the regulated market and the West Coast, they have an abundance of product. They don't have enough people to sell it to because they have a bigger unregulated drug problem than just about anywhere else. So that product, it finds its way into the East Coast. And the regulators realized in advance that was a problem. So the problem is they haven't yet implemented it, but they are implementing it.
Thank you.
Probably, almost too much walking traffic, no deliveries, no
Well, it'll probably be delivery because delivery basically avoids people having to come to the store. So you want to limit or minimize the amount of people who are coming into the store. Not that you don't want people walking in, but if you can avoid them walking in, then why not deliver? The other thing we're doing is we're making sure that we cue the public in a way that it doesn't lead to people all congregating at the front. So we're actually talking about possibly having a side door so people come in one way and exit another way. But before we did that, by example, I wanted to talk to you. Because I listen and I try to learn and sometimes let me do words. Maybe that's more dangerous. We don't think so, but it's something we've been thinking about just because we want to make sure that there's never.
So sorry, you said that, what did they call it? Will they be present at the location?
He will be managing.
He will
He will be there, yeah. And there may be, Donna will be there as well, but he's committed to operating. That's always the plan. He's always, even though we've been working together for 6 or 7 years and in cannabis, it's always been to get him to the point where he understood the industry at a level that most people don't. He understood how to operate dispensaries at a level most people don't, to prepare him for entering the industry and being successful.
Earlier, tried to get a situation that moved there.
Well, we had a site,
Okay,
but the site, basically it's a class 6 use of retail.
right,
And this CO was grandfathered, but it's technically a residential zone with a commercial use.
okay.
It expired. And once it expires, you have to actually renew it, and it's a process. And we tried for a year and a half. We eventually gave up because it just didn't seem like it could happen. And there is not an indefinite period of these licenses. You have an expiration date, although it's not really clear in instances where you're attached to a site. Basically, the cards are now 30 months if it was issued prior to August 27, 2023, 24 months after, and then provisionals, this new round is just 12 months. So if you don't get operational, you lose your license. And right now, because a lot of cards were just not able to, mainly because they could not find or have access to the money necessary to build out, they're expiring every day. Because right now it's like August, September, October, November are the months, and if they're going to lose 100 or more.
So you're transferring license, you have a license, so you're transferring your license to your location?
We're actually we're not transferring the license, it's simply called a location change. So we're changing the location.
But state has to come back to evaluate location, correct? Or it was already done?
It was already done. But the state is gonna wait to hear from you.
Okay,
And by the way, that's an important thing. While it's an advisory opinion, and technically they want to hear things like they think we're too close to schools or houses of worship. The fact that we don't want cannabis, obviously we can say it, and it may be something that you feel passionately about, but I think the interest is hearing from you in a way that the operators think are just adamant about wanting to do what they wanted to do, and they want a product, and they want to have a million events, and we don't think that's the way. Then you would oppose and give a negative advisory opinion.
okay,
But no, this
it's
is
not about, okay. Let me say, it's not about I don't want to, it's up to me to use it or not, okay? When this law came out, what we see every day so much illegal operation. Unfortunately, state and city cannot deal with it. In addition to being chair of this committee, probably I don't have to say it, I am an executive director of Brighton Beach Business Improvement District. So I know Brighton very well. And I'm in the office for 23 years. So I do know what Brighton is all about and what Brighton needs, okay? And what we have. How many illegal smoke shops we have in the area. And I would expect from the state drafting a law to deal with issues before bringing so-called legal shops to the area. The way it's written, even about educational institutions, okay? So if we have a 5-story building in the area and 2 stores, okay, are taken by charter school or daycare, it doesn't become as an educational
It does now.
institution.
Change those.
Not really.
They changed the rules. They changed the way they measure distance. They also changed the two things they changed in addition to where they measure the distance from, which is now property line to property line. They also no longer same road requirement. So if it is within the 200 or 500, if it's on a different road, it's also disqualifies the location. Third, to your point, exclusive use is also gone. So now a school that is in a building where there are other tenants also disqualifies a site. And to your point about the unregulated shops, because it is a big problem, the unregulated, I call it an unregulated submarket, it arose after the passage of marijuana regulation.
That's what I'm telling you.
Not before.
I
The
said
problem-
after.
Right, but the problem was that people argued, the police department and the sheriff's office, that they didn't have the authority or the power. That's not true. You build a regulated market, it doesn't make it legal to operate outside the regulated market. They are finally shutting stores down. In the last 6 months, they've shut down.
Every one of my neighbors got shut down.
Yes.
And then they open back.
Well, at some, you know what, the reason they're not opening back up now is because what they did do is they added a law that now fines the landlord on a daily basis. Now, all of a sudden, landlords say, well, I didn't know there was cannabis, which we all know. I'm sorry, I never met a landlord who doesn't know exactly what's going on in this building.
I met. So asking landlords that have property in this part of Brooklyn, but they live in Long Island or somewhere else. I met. I know what's going on. And I'm not against cannabis. Many people use it, many people like it, many people find it be helpful. I'm just saying, as a B director, okay, that the situation is very, very unmanageable right now when it comes to illegal stuff. That's it.
Okay, since she expressed an opinion, I'm gonna express an opinion. I am against cannabis, but I am much in favor of legal businesses. And there's a lot of crappy businesses going on. The second they passed that law, every store that was unoccupied was selling cannabis. They're all shut down now. I'm assuming it's related to getting some of the extra legal ones. I don't like drinking, but I'll approve all the alcohol applications. And I don't like cannabis, but you guys are running a legitimate business, and that's what matters to me.
Right, but.
And when we're ready for motions, I'll make the motion.
Okay. Wait. Is there a question on the screen?
Eddie, you talking to me?
Yes. Wait, hold on.
You had your hand up.
I do.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm ready to go. You ready?
Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead, Alan.
Good evening.
Alan has a question.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Alan Newman. I'm a member of the community board, not on this committee, and I'm very grateful for this extended and interesting conversation. I live on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I live almost directly above a cannabis shop, and I'm very impressed with how it's run. There's a limited number of people who are allowed in the shop at any given time. Upon entry, one is required to show a New York State or a federal ID. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what your process will be for entry. And I'm coming from the point of view of how wonderfully run I think a cannabis shop can be, particularly since I was the guy who used to be buying it on West 80th Street from a guy in a stoop. So many years ago. But
okay.
I thought maybe you could talk about actually what happens when someone shows up. How will the shop be managed, moment to moment, customer by customer?
So the way it works is probably what you're familiar with. It's really one system that's utilized by most successful dispensaries, which is having somebody, before you actually physically enter entirely into the premises, you take your ID. There's a machine that's unified in a state, and it's one of the big question. Well, how do you know it's not a fake ID? The machine filters out fake. say, well, they gotta build something that they'll figure out an end around. They haven't figured out it. And by the way, if there's any question, then you opt not to let them in anyway. No requirement to let people in. Somebody's inebriated or intoxicated or high, they're not coming in the store. Just like the thought that your employees are gonna be able to use while they're working is ridiculous, but I've seen that as well. So it's pretty much a regulated process. The protocol and you know, what you're seeing is a function of the requirement that you build standard operating procedures, SOPs in cannabis, and you abide by them. And you will get visits from the regulators who will check to see if you are. They come in unannounced often, and they see how you operate. And if you're not complying with same things that are required under the regulations built by the state, you will get a level violation, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Generally speaking, you get a 4 or 5. But there are times when, you know, you've done something that's perceived by the regulators to be incredibly dangerous. The fact that maybe you're not checking IDs for everything. If the product ends up in the hands of a minor. So those things are taken very seriously. And the reason that we have the SOPs is because you can lose your license if you don't comply, and no person's worth that.
But back to Alan's question. I come into your store, I have an ID, okay, and now I assume that's like in a vestibule area before I'm in the store proper.
It doesn't have to be a vestibule.
That's okay.
It's sort of check-in area.
Okay, check-in area, okay, then I come in and you're there to help me,
Yeah,
what happens?
so I think there's kind of two routes that we were planning on. One for a more streamlined or quick experience for customers who are looking to come in quickly, know what they want and don't want any help. And that's either through a kiosk or going straight to the point of sale. And alternatively, for people who don't know what they're looking at, we're going to have personnel that can help talk to them, guide them through their experience and help them find what they're looking for, or help them, you know, get closer to certain product types or product mixes that may be close to what they're looking for.
So now I've decided what I wanted,
Yes.
what's my next step?
Yeah, so either you proceed onto the line and get checked out. A couple of options. One, that person will likely have a tablet that they can fill your order out on if you're ready at that point when you're talking with the person who's helping to guide you. Alternatively, one of the kiosks, it'll be a sort of wall mounted kiosk that you can go up to, input your order and put it through to the back of the house. And alternatively, just going onto a line similar as you would a standard retail transaction. You go up, let the personnel know what you'd like, and they fulfill your order. And then there'll be a, similar lead to a waiting area where they wait as their order's fulfilled, or pick it up if they put it on the kiosk or, was put in through a tablet. So we like to, allow for a bit of a range of consumer experiences, because we understand that it's going to range as to what people are looking for when they walk into the store.
So you said earlier that you would have not just cannabis, you have creams or lotions and things like that. And you'll have somebody that can help the person coming into the store?
So the personnel who will be speaking with the person, either the bud tender or the person on the floor speaking with them in a similar role, will be very well trained and incredibly well versed in the entire product selection, and not specific to the products, but also to cannabis itself and various cannabinoids. Everybody's familiar with THC. A lot of people have probably heard of CBD. There are hundreds of cannabinoids that interact with our bodies differently and can help, implement or focus on certain effects. A lot of people like CBN for sleep, and other similar cannabinoids. So things like that are things that are incredibly well trained on and be able to talk regular customers about to help find what they should.
Okay, I don't want to monopolize this, but that brings me to the next question. Your staff, how are they going to be trained?
Yeah, it'll be a fairly comprehensive training program that has a few different sort of categories to it. One, they're going to understand the law generally, purchase limits, what people are allowed to buy, and things that should be, basically in the back of their mind by default. We also have the New York State regulations. The Office of Cannabis Management has promulgated a pretty wide range of regulations, a lot targeting retail dispensaries. There's regulations specific to retail dispensary operations as well as marketing and packaging, labeling and things. So those are going to be items that our staff is well versed on as well. And then lastly, and likely the most critical piece is our actual standard operating procedures. And we're currently developing the training manual to incorporate the law and regulations and pull those through to how we actually operate. So our employees can understand where these regulations came from and how they actually implement them on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's great to know that there are purchase limits, but if you can't understand as to how those track through our system and are automatically implemented so that somebody can't automatically over purchase, they might have no idea, and it could it could impact how they're doing their day-to-day transactions. So it's kind of starting at the top and running through a wide range, and that's mainly just dealing with cannabis itself. There's going to be retail specific training, of course, workplace harassment, discrimination training, things of those sorts. So it's something that's incredibly important to us. We feel that employees are often overlooked in retail generally, but particularly on the cannabis related retail, there's an incredibly high turnover rate for bud tenders and cannabis related staff. So prioritizing staff, getting them well trained, and also just incentivizing them to work, having incredibly competitive payment and benefits is something that we're interested in because we feel that it's a necessity. And particularly if you want to have staff that they can, know their customers, they can have people come in and see a familiar face other than my own.
I was at a banking conference in cannabis, it's called PBC. It was in Washington, DC. I flew back this morning after my panel that I was on for this. And I'm pointing it out because we're now getting to the point where there are people out there that are putting together programs. They realize how competitive it is. So they have 401k program now for cannabis that you can offer employees. Healthcare you can offer employees. The concept behind employees in cannabis is kind of like the high tide brings everybody, right? So we're giving people an opportunity to make a competitive wage, but also benefits, lack of healthcare, lack of forced retirement benefits and options. So there's all these different opportunities coming out. And one of the things we do is because that's all we do. We try to stay on top of those opportunities because we realize that the only way to communicate your message to your customer is through the eyes of your employee. So training them, it's critical to success in any retail business, but I tell everybody, cannabis is harder than any other retail business. So it's even more important.
Just a quick question, business projection, 1-year projection, 2-year projection.
We have not yet done our projections for this summer. We were actually just talking about that. We don't have them yet, but we build. One of the other things you learn in cannabis, which is different than anything else, is in every other business, you have a business plan, a marketing plan, and then you find your site. In cannabis, you have to find your site, understand your demographics, and then build your marketing business. So you have to figure out your product mix and price points only after you know who you're selling to.
So you have no projection?
We don't have, right now, we don't have to do it. Well, you could talk, I think we're planning on originally forced POS. Right, so what do we say, how many full-time equivalents? I don't remember.
Yeah, I believe 10 to 15.
In one store?
Not at the same time.
Yeah.
The total employer.
Yeah.
So it's going to be five.
It's only 1,500 square feet. We're not gonna have 50. Somebody in the back, because remember, we have an inventory room that protects the product. It locks automatically, which is basically an alarm, and it locks the inventory room. Conceptually, the vault, but it's not a vault like you think. So that's protected. That's where the product is both housed and stored and where they're taking it. So basically you have a storage area, which probably will be in the basement, where the product will be sitting and then you will move it up to the inventory room, which is where it's going to sit as product as orders are fulfilled by somebody in the inventory room, 1 or 2 people. So it'll be somebody in the inventory room, there'll probably be 2 or 3 people on the floor. Security. So figure there's probably going to be 4 or 5 people at a given.
Are you gonna have, or do you create video surveillance?
You're required. You have to have cameras. The requirements and security, let's just put it this way. On average, we're spending about $60,000 to $80,000 in security. It's just very, very expensive, but to everybody's credit, it protects and keeps everybody safe. You don't want people breaking in and then having all this product on the street that you're technically responsible for. So it's an investment, but yes, cameras everywhere. I think there's 20 to 22 different views. And if we have a side, we're gonna have cameras both on the side at the 3, on the corner, and on Bright. So,
Did say that.
and every,
Dark. Winter, so.
It's not only dark in the winter, it's dark, I mean. Wait,
different points. I understand that, and that's why, listen, so it's dark. What should we do?
I'm working on it with Borough Press and
Okay,
DOT, yes, I'm working on it.
okay, so my point is like, when I say we're collaborative, it's, we're not just giving lip service, we actually want to hear what you have to say, because really, like, the fact that I have a history doesn't mean I'm relevant now. I understand that. You are. I'll be in the store 2, probably, at a minimum. And when we start, probably every day. To be honest with you, listen, I don't know about you, but I've been a lawyer for 36, almost 37 years. I'm looking forward to not being a lawyer in the traditional sense, at some point, so.
Okay, flyers.
You can't.
Okay, we
You can't give
can't,
up lots.
wait, I'm really sorry.
Sure.
There is a cannabis shop just 1 block away. We did not approve it, but they decided to give it to them next to ICOP.
I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Right here.
They have worked with advertising all over Coney Island, on each and every fence, okay? On each and every.
You should call the office.
Nice time.
You're not allowed to market that. Can't give out you can't give out flyers. It's literally a violation. I know because I had it. Go out, so basically the way you market in cannabis is you aggregate data, because you get shut down on social media too. Just a matter of whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's whatever. You aggregate data and you direct market. So I let people who signed up, meaning they want information, we send them information direct, mainly by text. Because you can't send faxes, right? You can't give out handbooks. You can't have more than 2 signs. You can't have a menu board. But I will tell you, today they have announced the new packaging, marketing, labeling, and advertising regs are out for comment. You should look at it, and I'm happy to send you the email link, because we have a very restrictive framework right now, and they're loosening it a little bit, but we're not talking about major. It goes from 2 signs to 3 signs. Still can have neon, you still can have lights, you still can have saturated colors. So it's still a very restrictive process, unlike tobacco and alcohol.
So when I parked tonight, I parked behind a van, you had a sign on top of it.
Yeah.
that said, Ideas, or what did it?
Across the street, yeah, across the street, yep, across the street, yes.
And I parked behind a
In
truck.
the building next,
that had a sign. No, next to IHOP.
yeah, no, I understand, no, I passed it.
Yeah. They're everywhere.
No, I don't wanna throw anybody under the bus. But I can only tell you what is allowed and what isn't. And by the way, this is something I do, I work with community, the not community boards too, I work with community boards and figuring out how this is gonna work. Helping them design what they want and get a commitment from the licensees that are more consistent with the way they wanna see the business. We're probably looking at 90 to 120 days for construction alone. I mean, if you saw that, you've walked by the store. It's right now, you can't even see into it. There's a dividing wall, a little bit more than a theatrical wall, but not a solid wall. You know, we have to fill out an inventory room, but I do have a local contractor who's done buildings in the community. I felt it was important to have somebody that's invested. So that what they design is something consistent with other things they've done and what the community probably is comfortable with.
If you're building us of rights, nobody asking community what we are comfortable with.
Well, I'm asking, of course I am, we're here to.
No, I'm not talking about you, you said, if people are building us of rights, nobody's asking us What are we comfortable with?
But we're here to find out what you guys are looking for in a cannabis business in this community. We're giving you the opportunity to place restrictions on how we do what we do, because we're here, we're not, we have to be polite, we have to be good neighbors. I mean, and it's important to make sure that you're not doing things that are perceived as offensive. I had a store that we operated on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. He picked the name Freshly Baked before he got Arthur Avenue. He just happened to pick that name. And Arthur Avenue, as you know, is a big food location. Some of the community didn't like the name. They thought it was offensive because it seemed to be a play on big. He didn't do it on purpose. But we have an opportunity to make a decision about what we're going to name the store, or we want to make sure that you guys are okay.
Have you talked to the nearby district as well?
We've sure. I've been speaking to business owners. I go there and I speak to business owners. I go 3 blocks down, I go across the street, I go all the way to Coney Island Ave.
And?
We've got mixed. It's been mixed. Honestly, it's been mixed. Now, I haven't canvassed, I haven't gotten signatures, but happy to do that. You're never gonna have everybody embrace it, but I will tell you this, in communities, in all the places that I've appeared at community board meetings, places like Glendale, where there was a fist fight with the president of the Bay Ridge, where we moved to an auditorium, 450 people who were throwing water bottles. I've seen it all.
You had mentioned, you were talking about your thought process might include a second side door and things like that.
Yes, side door on.
I'm not sure.
Right and third, sorry, which is not good idea.
That's why we're asking. We're happy to close it. We're happy not to use it. Sorry.
I think that's more security concern, okay, to be honest, for the business and the patrons. Okay, one less door to watch is always better than
Great
splitting
point.
time.
Great point.
Okay.
We have to have
so-
somebody there responsible for that exit
Yeah,
to make sure it's not an entrance.
and that's gonna cut into your staff.
You're right.
And so on.
You
So I
changed my
think
mind.
that's
Thank you.
low hanging fruit. While, you heard some folks. You heard Alan from back in the day.
That was a corner.
Okay. Sure, the benefits of what that can do. I lost my brother to renal cell cancer. And
So,
this was the only thing, this is a while ago, this is the only thing that was able to take away the pain.
Wow.
Not the other drugs that the doctor gave, now I'm talking a while ago. Okay,
We
but
haven't
it's
gotten
the
better
only
drugs
thing,
since.
I'm sorry,
We haven't gotten any better pharmaceutical drugs.
yeah, but it's the only thing that helped him. I'm not saying it can help everybody. The only thing that helped him, and it was back in the day that I had to try to find a place to get it. Okay? Again, like Alan, back in the day, that was easy. Okay, but so personally, I see a reason, I see a purpose. You folks to me present yourselves as extremely professional. And that's part of my thought process as we move forward on this. So I just wanted, as everyone was talking about their own thoughts, well, put in my 2 cents.
The biggest market, one of the things that we're seeing is an expansion in 2 areas. Gummies for sleep, because
Right.
we get to a point, 4 hours is not gonna do it on a consistent basis. And also beverage, which is something that I'm just giving you an idea what is a growing market segment. But, how hard was it to find something before the medical market was available?
Then let's put it, I knew where to go.
But we have a lot more
Back then.
to the point, so imagine like now, although we don't.
That would have been a hell of a lot easier. It wasn't not gonna be shady and things like that. And it wasn't going to be illegal either now. But I remember how important that was towards his last day. So, and again, to see your attitude and you're coming here basically hat in hand and asking us what we need to give the okay, is, important. To me.
Appreciate it. I mean, if we're gonna be here, you know, we have a 10-year lease, I'm not going anywhere. So.
You find that maybe tinted windows, the kids can have.
So, great point. Two options. You can either frost the windows to about 5 feet so you can't visibly see in, which is what people do if you want to put product on the floor. But remember, products, that's a misconception. There's no actual product. It's containers. You're not allowed, the regulations do not allow for actual product. Other option is not to have any product on, and you don't have to frost the windows. We generally, like, my thought is to do that because I don't want people to think there's anything going on, anything funny. If you can't see in, all of a sudden, it's like, why? So by keeping it open, basically letting people see, there's really nothing to see. You would barely know what it was going on. You wouldn't go like, that's cannabis. No, I'm going.
For the security too.
Okay, any motion?
Make the motion. Unless you want. And I'll try to use the proper language so I can make a proper motion. I motion to give a license application. The High Central, located at 301 Brighton Beach Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11235.
I second it.
Roll call. Jennifer Dublin.
Yeah.
House Graham,
Yes.
Barbara Garveau,
Okay.
Minnie Monkita,
Abstain.
Pat O'Brien,
Yes.
Dan Rinkowski. Michael Silverman,
Yes.
Elena Mackin.
No.
This is 4 in favor. 2 opposed. And 2 abstentions. Is that considered a body?
Well, no, it's 4-2 pass.
No, abstentions.
Abstentions
Oh,
have
right.
chosen to not vote.
Doesn't count, but yeah, but it doesn't do it, I don't know.
Oh, I thought it counted, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thirtieth,
Oh, great, thank you.
yeah, and
What would it, what information can I get, just for my own edification? Is it just that you don't feel it's appropriate for the community, or information that I could give you that might change your opinion? What is it? We tried to be, recognize where we are, and we're so far from those things that we always understood you don't want to be close to, house of worship and schools. So is it because we're on a major road? By nature, that's. Yeah.
I just want to speak for myself, I mean.
No, I'm asking you, for you, because I want to look, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, old business, new business, anybody? Okay, time to motion to adjourn.